Welcome back to more of The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, and Estelle and Agate are both out of HP because stupid rhinos. Anyway, it's time to head to the Herb Royal Villa to look for a lost child. Finally visiting this place under happier circumstances. Also, take note of those birds in the corner, they're important. So, I have chosen this party for a reason, but there is some pretty hilarious dialogue that you'll get if you bring Olivier to this too, so there's really merit in most combinations of party members. Actually, I don't know what kind of dialogue Zin has during this segment too, since I don't think a lot of people bring him here. It's usually Chloe and then either Olivier or Tita. Yeah, where we were there previously, it was actually a bit of an exception and not the rule. They shut this place down because they were actually using it for hostages. See, this definitely is like some real-life, locations that end up getting used as tourist attractions. So what I want to do here is I actually want to talk to this guard. And if you've defeated the Chronociders, you'll actually get different dialogue with this guy. It's actually acknowledged that you completed that request. So that's kind of cool. Not that it really affects anything, but it's just a nice touch. So here, there are some pigeons here. One of these pigeons is named Eggs. Let's just go slow. Oh, yeah, I usually just like to go slowly and mash the X button. So that I can... No, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to the bird. Yep, that's Eggs. Okay, got him. And that one is Ham. Eggs is the important one. Because this is, believe it or not, your only opportunity to talk to Eggs in the entire game. Eggs will be gone after the story advances. So, yeah. For those going for all the achievements, that is a major jerk move. Also, there's a fishing spot here. But other than that, let's just head inside. So yeah, make sure you talk to the pigeons there. And it looks like Chamberlain Raymond is already out here. Speaking of any minutes, we're here this minute, right now. Yeah, when you requested braces, you probably didn't expect us. Yeah, just pretend not to notice. Okay then. Yeah, I don't know if he actually does know and he's just playing it off as him not knowing, or if he genuinely doesn't realize she's the princess. Oh, okay. So he can't find her parents, and she likes running off and hiding. Therefore, she's pretty typical of a child, I guess. So our mission here is to help him find the lost child. White frilly dress and a black hair ribbon. No name. That's kinda weird. Oh. Well, she certainly seems mischievous. Yeah, we definitely need to locate her relatives as soon as possible. This could easily become a problem. Let me guess, Estelle played hide and seek a lot when she was a kid. Huh. Okay, so yeah, like Estelle says, we have a prankster here. Kind of the exact opposite of Tita in a way. She'd never really do that kind of thing. Yeah, well, good news, she didn't go into the forest because well, there used to be very dangerous monsters there. There aren't anymore. Yes, a kitten child. That's a bit redundant because kittens are children, but still. Okay, so before I explain this portion of the game and get to searching, there's one thing that I want to do, and this is actually why I brought Chloe. In this room right here, guess who it is? And now you probably know why I brought Chloe to this part. That is the typical reaction. Oh, wow, Agate, you were not here last time. Yeah, so you actually... This is one of the few instances I feel like where you actually get better dialogue on the Shara route than you do on the Agate route. So I'll be sure to show that, like... Once I complete Chapter 3, I'll do a bonus video where I reload some of my saves from my practice file and record some of the Shara route scenes that I feel are particularly good. This one right here is definitely a bit more interesting with Shara. So, yep, Duke Dunan got put under house arrest after the last game, for good reason. And yeah, not our fault that you sided with the people who wanted to overthrow the Queen. And wanted to take over everything as king. You know, he admittedly does have a point there. The problem is that Duke Dunan being far better known among the citizenry is for all the wrong reasons. Well, I mean, she has demonstrated that a lot, but not publicly, and that is true. That right there, that's out of line. Screw you, Dunan. Oh boy, Ferdinand and Lawrence would like to have a word with this guy. Oh yeah, let's just forget all of this stuff about you being a jerk for the moment. Let's just say, oh, okay, there's a girl that we've lost. Have you seen her? Well, he was completely unhelpful, but that was to be expected. I'm pretty sure everyone who meets him is. Parts of it were, but not the part about her wallowing in the mud with the peasants. And yeah, he did kind of make a point. Also, nice interjection there, Tita. Tita does sum it up. I am too. Like, this is actually a very good moment for Chloe and her development over the course of this story. I can't believe that since I first played this game, I actually forgot how good Chloe's character arc was in this one. So yeah, that's a bit of a diversion, but now we can resume the search for the lost girl. And although one more thing that I just want to mention is that all throughout the first game, I had a particular voice in my head for Duke Dunan, like how I pictured him sounding, and I wasn't really sure how to describe it, and now, due to someone in the comment section mentioning it, I finally know exactly the voice that I hear in my head for Duke Dunan. Prince John from Disney's Robin Hood. If any of you have watched that, that is exactly how I imagine Duke Dunan sounding. But anyway, if we go here into the Royal Villa Lounge, we have Chamberlain Raymond here. Do not talk to him. If you talk to him, you will get his advice and help in searching for the lost child. This costs you bonus BP. So, the bonus BP in this segment is a little weird. This quest is not officially completed until the very end of Chapter 3, and because of that, you won't know until then whether you got all the BP or not, and that's really, really annoying. For that reason, I would recommend making a separate save file right here, just in case you mess something up. Because you have the option to search pretty much all over the villa for the lost child. You can go into the art room and search like the giant pot, for example, and there's a lot of really funny dialogue you get from examining various places around the villa. However, there's a bit of inconsistency when it comes to sources regarding what is required to get all the BP here, and how many places you're allowed to look in before you start losing BP. So, for the sake of getting maximum BP, I am going to avoid all of the optional stuff and just find the lost child immediately. Guess what? She is right here. It's kind of a find the captain from Sonic 06 situation. The correct answer is right where the initial NPC who gave you the quest was. It's also kind of foreshadowed earlier when you're talking to Elnan, and they bring up they found Chamberlain Raymond underneath the table here. Because that establishes that it's still a perfectly valid hiding place, and yep, someone was hiding there in both FC and SC. So I am going to show bonus footage of the optional dialogue for examining all of the other places here. Because like I said, a lot of it is really funny, especially if you have Olivier in the party. But again, from most of my playthroughs, I've found the best way to guarantee you get all the BP for this is to not examine anything optional and just find Ren immediately. Go straight to where she is. And the only thing that most guides definitely agree on is never talk to Chamberlain Raymond, because that definitely loses you BP. But yeah, with that spiel out of the way, yeah, it turns out Ren was the lost girl all along. I wouldn't exactly call that a white mini dress though, it's more like white, blue, and black, but that's kind of beside the point. Especially since you hid right next to him. Huh, how did you know that? I guess you called the braces. Well, yeah, but there are tons of braces in the country. Just like what Estelle's saying. But yeah, coincidences tend to happen quite a lot in stories like this, especially RPGs. You meet someone with a portrait earlier, you're gonna meet them again later, most likely. Yeah, well the good news is we actually know who this kid's parents are, so we can easily track them down. Yeah, well, admittedly, Agate and Tita got off to a very bad start, so she has a point. I feel like if Agate was a D&D character, his charisma would probably be pretty low. Okay, I usually find in those situations that, I mean, well, not that most kids understand this, but I usually find that in these situations, it's generally best to just wait where your parents told you to wait, because I may have had experience with this as a child, and generally speaking, when you're not when you actually go out and try and look for them yourself and are not where they told you to wait, they tend to get very, very worried, so yeah, like I said, I may have had that happen to me when I was a kid, and yeah, still remember it to this day. However, both of them just kind of up and vanished, and it seems to have been a while since they came back for her. So we should obviously try and find them. Especially since she's only 11 and here on her own. I mean, Tita's at least traveling with the rest of us. And monsters on the roads have gotten worse. Yeah, and trusting her to the Bracer Guild's probably a good thing. If her parents do come back, Raymond will just tell them she was taken to the Bracer Guild branch in Grand Cell. Huh, I wonder what that something important is. Yeah, well, you called yourself Lady Wren. We get to call ourselves Miss Estelle. Agate doesn't get a title, though. And so with that, we actually have Wren following us now. I actually forget if there's a place that you can heal here. I wish there was, but it doesn't really seem like it. And that's not good because, yeah, I don't want to be on the road while we're in such a bad shape. But anyway, let's head on back to the guild. And go ahead and, what have I got here? I'm really going to need to restock my, my revival items soon. Okay, all healed up, and I also need to remember to restock my EP charges, because for some reason I don't have any of those left, and that's really not good, since yeah, Chloe's kinda useless when she runs out of EP. So I've taken care of everything I can in here. Let's just head on back to the guild. Ah! Whoa, that was close. Ren almost got hit by that thing. Yeah, the fact that you spread out so much when you're running can be a problem when you have this many people in your entourage. Just to show this off, while we're here, Ren does show up with us as an NPC. And if you feel you need to, you can use Earthguard or things on her. But really, it's best just to head straight back to the guild. But she's actually not a horrible NPC to have with you. Oh, hi Philip. We really could have used you back at the villa. You probably would have stopped Dunan before he went on that big spiel about how terrible of a noble Chloe is. It would have been nice to have, the, well, token not horrible person accompanying Duke Dunan when we were talking to him. Yes, unfortunately we did. It's never much time since unpleasantness when he's concerned. When will you learn you don't need to apologize for the fact that he is a complete jerk? Yeah, kind of, better than well in a way. He's just kind of lounging around there eating donuts instead of doing anything productive. So yeah, in case you're worried about Philip traveling alone with all of these monsters out and about, he used to be part of the Royal Guard. Sounds like she was saying something profound, and then she goes ahead and says that. Yeah, basically he... I love how they're kind of lampshading this. It's just kind of a common art style thing where you have characters like Brock, who from the Pokemon anime, who have their eyes looking closed a lot of the time. There are a few times when he does open his eyes though, and it's kind of crazy when he does. Yes, when we see Philip next time, let's jump out and surprise him and see his eyes. But yeah, at this point, there's nothing much else to do here. I'll just cut back to when we get back to the guild. And so, here we are back in Grand Cell. Oh, right, that. I almost completely forgot about that one. We had 2 monster quests and finding a lost child. Give us a bit of a break. Also, the army contact thing, Agate, that is something you probably should not have said in front of a civilian, just saying. Anyway, let's go ahead. Oh, actually, before we drop off Ren, there are actually a few people in the city who have slightly different dialogue if you talk to them while Ren is following you. And I think you're one of them. So yeah. Please don't go full Garen. And also, please do not give her weapons. That would also be a bad thing. I mean, Tita has her cannon, but even then, she tends to stay away from anything really dangerous. Plus, she has been staying with us for a little while. Oh, I guess that's the contact we were meeting. It's arc prominent, nuke 2/3 of your health in one hit. Actually, more like 3/4 of your health in one hit guy. Don't get me wrong, I still like this guy though. That fight never really soured me on him, especially since I find it actually kind of a fun fight if you know how to do it. It's definitely not nearly as bad as that penguin one that I want to forget happened. Speaking of which, we should probably get her out of the room while we're having this discussion. Yeah, that's the lost child we were tasked to find. And yeah, you can probably tell that we were unsuccessful in finding her parents. Yeah, you could say that. Workaholic parents who don't have time for their children, that's always sad. At least we have someone close to her age with us. This is, yeah, the reason why I brought Tita to find Ren. And so Tita's made a new friend, hopefully. Hopefully the whole prank thing doesn't rub off on Tita, because I just realized someone crazily good with technology becoming a prankster would probably, that would lead to some things happening. And so, back to the serious stuff. Okay, from looking for a lost child to something much more serious. Well, that can't be good at all. Immediately back down from this act of deceit and false compromise. Should you not, a great disaster will be visited upon you. Well, that's vague. And the language is generic enough to not really point to anyone in particular. Okay, that's a lot of places, including some areas that it would be kind of hard to get into. So somebody's serious about this. Yeah, the last two definitely don't seem all that related. That's true. That's also true, and let me guess, the church is supervising the signing? Thought so. Yeah, the lapel news, that makes sense. Plus, a threatening letter getting to the news service would increase the chances of information about that being published in the news, and thus effectively spreading the message even further. Well, I mean, Ouroboros is our prime suspect, but does Ouroboros really have a reason to stir up tension between the three kingdoms right now? Their goals seem to be mostly focused on Liberl at this point. It definitely feels like Xin has a point here. It's more likely to be someone from one of those countries. Not to mention the remnants of the intelligence division. I feel like the intelligence division might definitely have a hand in this kind of thing too. So yes, we have 7 places to investigate. Not to mention that's probably exactly what these people want, a heightened state of alert. These kind of things are mostly meant to scare people. Well, I'd be very glad to help you out. And more cooperation between the guild and the army is always a good thing, considering how bad relations used to be between them. Oh yeah, the parents thing. Considering the kinds of things that are going on in the city right now, it's possible the 2 cases may even be connected. So as we go to these places, we're going to have to ask about both Ren and the threatening letters. Yeah, obviously they would have come in on a plane. So right now we're going to be juggling 2 jobs. Yeah, so thankfully you don't have to do all 7 on your own. So our party composition is going to be shifting a bit, and we'll be without Agate for, like, the first time in this entire route. And also, Tita gets left behind, no using her at this point. Which actually could be a problem. Did I give Tita anything good in terms of equipment or quartz? I don't think so. It's good that Tita isn't like a primary spellcaster, so you're not likely to have a ton of really, really good quartz on her at this point. Or accessories. All the stuffed animals. Well, be thankful that Annalise isn't here, because, yeah, you'd have to deal with her constantly gushing about them and exploding. I love that. I just love the implied puppy dog eyes they both give her. Are you sure about that? I know exactly where this is going. I just don't think it's a good idea for someone who is described as a prankster to be out with only another child to supervise her. Well, at least she seems to be having fun. And, yeah, Tita has a friend her own age for I mean, she has a lot of friends her own age back at Zeiss, but this is the first time I've actually seen her with one. It is actually kind of true. Kids that age do tend to, make friends with each other pretty quickly. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Please, let's just hope that Ren is not a bad influence. She easily could be. That's exactly what I was alluding to. Yeah, so Ren is actually from Crossbell, i.e. the land of the non-localization. So we're looking for Harold and Sophia Hayworth. I think this is the first time Crossbell is actually... In fact, is this the first time Crossbell's mentioned in the series at all? It might be. Yeah, like at the time, who would have believed that Crossbell would end up being so important? So yeah, you actually cannot get into the embassies without Olivier and Zin with you. And yeah, thankfully, we have basically connections everywhere in this city. Just as Elnan is saying. Yeah, Niall owes her quite a lot. And for that, Agate's just gonna have to run around just talking to a bunch of people. Thankfully, this is not a D&D game where you inevitably roll terribly on persuasion checks and end up getting no information. But yeah, good DMs know how to give out just the right amount of information to players, even if they fail a lot of charisma checks to NPCs. I have a feeling that you're, probably pretty infamous over there. We'll head over there and they'll go, oh no, it's him. I mean, hi, Olivier! Yeah. Nice to see you. Yep, that's all we're doing. We'll be picking a direction and, well, not praying, going. But first... yeah, there's one more quest here, and this one is actually a priority. So, we'll be dealing with that, along with our investigation, next time. But stay tuned now for some optional dialogue from the Lost Child search at the villa. Okay, so coming back here to record some extra scenes when looking for Ren, and I just realized something. So, before going to Duke Dunan's room, you can't actually get into the room that Ren is hiding in. So I guess talking to him is required. Oh, okay, yeah, so Olivier has a bit of very interesting dialogue in this part. That's actually kind of interesting because normally Erebonia's nobles tend to get away with a lot of crimes. Okay, a bit more dialogue from Olivier here. Well, I mean, when I see that, the first example that comes to mind is Alincia, but that's a completely different game universe. Oh my... oh! I did not know about this line! Because I usually bring Tita here. You're not gonna realize this, but having played Cold Steel, I'm pretty sure he's referring to Dreikel's the Lionheart there. So, yeah, again, that's not going to mean anything to anyone who has not played the Cold Steel games, but this is a big reference to the backstory of Erebonia. Yeah, it definitely is. It really is him. I can't believe I didn't... I'm so glad I'm recording this now, because this is a very important conversation. So yeah, that's Civil War with all of the other princes being killed. That, you will actually find books about that if you play the Cold Steel games. Okay, is this the good conversation? I have a feeling this is the good conversation. And, yeah, the wording on that line, that is just great. That's just... Whatever localizer came up with how to specifically word that line, I applaud you. And yes, that's actually the reason why I brought Olivier here. Oh, you're not allowed to check if she's in the water. Yeah, this room is out of the way, and that's a pretty grand hiding place. Of course it wouldn't be that obvious. So, you can see a list of all the places you've checked in your Bracer notebook. So we've checked bench, podium, pot, and the table. So if you check all of those locations, and then also talk to Raymond, you do get the option to give up. This, I believe, is what cost you the BP for this quest. Oh, actually, wow, I didn't know that's what that phrase actually meant. It's probably a different phrase in Japanese, but I know that as an Australian, we did not say that at all. Didn't really have a tradition for giving up in hide and seek. I guess you just say, I give up. I'm picturing Agate just yelling that really, really, like, in a tone that just says, why do I have to do this? And this must be embarrassing to people who decide to give up here, because she was right there the whole time. You just wasted your BP, and the correct answer was right in front of you, literally. And from here, I think it plays out pretty much exactly the same as, yeah, as it did normally. So, doing it this way definitely costs you the bonus BP, but I've heard reports that you can lose BP just by being thorough and checking everything else. Or if you try and talk to Chamberlain Raymond before you check everywhere. So, to be perfectly safe, don't talk to Chamberlain Raymond at all. And if you want to be completely safe, just find Ren immediately. That's the surefire way to secure all the bonus BP for this quest. The really annoying thing is, like I said before, but I just want to stress it because it is really frustrating, you won't know whether you've got full BP until the end of the chapter.